You already know what small talk sounds like when it goes wrong. You feel it in your chest. The second a conversation turns into a weather report. She's standing there. You can feel she was actually open, actually present, and then something in you decided to keep it safe. So you asked her where she's from. You asked her what she does. She answered, politely. And right then, without a single word, she filed you away. Small talk isn't neutral. It's a verdict. Every time you stay in that safe, flat conversational zone, you are broadcasting one thing: that you don't trust yourself enough to say anything real. And women don't find that boring. They find it invisible. There's a specific reason this keeps happening, and it has nothing to do with confidence or looks or any of the other excuses you've been running with. I'll show you exactly what it is. But first, you need to see the full damage of what staying in the small talk bubble actually costs you. I want you to think about a specific moment. Not a hypothetical, a real one. You're sitting across from her at a party or a group dinner. She was engaged earlier. She was laughing. And then she came over and sat next to you. And you asked her what music she listens to. She answered. You said, "Oh, cool." Then silence. Then she checked her phone. That's not shyness. That's not bad luck. You had the door open, and you stood there holding the handle instead of walking through it. Every man who has ever lost a woman to silence knows what that moment feels like. You don't need me to describe it. You're already feeling it right now. And actually, I want to talk about what you're probably telling yourself right now. You're thinking, yeah, but I'm just waiting for the right moment. The right moment. Bro, there is no right moment. There never was. The men who are good at this don't wait for a green light. They've already decided before they even open their mouth. They're not crossing a minefield. They're just walking down a hallway they own. You've been waiting for permission to flirt, for her to somehow signal that it's okay, and she keeps giving you a window, and you keep nailing it shut. I remember watching this happen at a get-together. Guy sitting next to a girl who kept touching her hair, kept laughing at what he said. And I'm watching him, and he's just firing off questions. Where are you from? What do you study? Do you live nearby? One after another, like he's filling out a form. And I could see it on her face. She went from warm to polite in about 4 minutes. She eventually turned to talk to someone else. He came over to me confused, said, "She seemed interested earlier." She was. He interviewed her out of it. Because the thing is, the way you live has made you passive. You live in a world where you never have to take social risk. You order from your phone. You scroll instead of speaking. You reply with reactions instead of real responses. Your social muscle, the one that knows how to take a conversation off the rails in the best possible way, has atrophied. And now, when a real moment appears in front of you, a moment that could change something, your body doesn't know what to do. So it reaches for safety. It goes back to the weather, back to what she does for work, back to the invisible zone. Think about the last time you were in a conversation with a girl and you could feel it going somewhere. And you felt that pull, that split second where you could have said something real, something that actually had weight to it. And instead you asked a follow-up question, a safe one. And you felt the moment pass. You felt it physically. That tight, hollow thing in your chest right after. You're probably sitting there right now thinking of a specific person, a specific night. You already know which one. Anyway, I used to be exactly this person. I'm not sharing a theory with you right now. I'm sharing a memory. I remember sitting with a girl at a dinner table. We were mutual friends with the host, and I had this knot in my chest the entire night because I could feel the conversation dying in my hands. I kept asking questions. She kept answering them. Both of us were exhausted by the time she made up an excuse to go talk to someone else. I thought the problem was that I wasn't interesting enough, that I needed better stories or better jokes. That's not the problem. The problem was that I was treating the conversation like an interview. I was gathering information instead of creating energy. Two completely different things. Small talk doesn't kill attraction. The intent behind it does. When you ask her where she's from because you have nothing else to say, that's a dead end. When you ask her the exact same question and you already know you're going to tease her about the answer, that's a door. Same words. The inside of your head is the difference. You don't need new lines. You need a new posture inside the conversation. The men who are magnetic don't run scripts. They stopped calculating and started reacting. Honestly, playfully, as themselves. That is the identity flip. Not a skill, not a technique, a decision about who you're being inside the conversation. And I watched this happen with someone I know. He was the quietest person in the room whenever women were around. And then something shifted. He stopped trying to keep it together and just started saying what he actually thought. First time he did it, they were at a cafe, she recommended something off the menu, and he just looked at her and said, "That is a terrible recommendation, and I'm going to prove it to you." Ordered what she said, ate it, told her she was wrong. She got loud defending herself. They argued about it for 10 minutes, and then she gave him her number. She turned around, laughed, asked him to explain. They talked for 45 minutes. When you stop protecting yourself inside conversations, they stop dying on you. Yeah, and look, I'll be honest with you, this is not something you master in a week. I still catch myself retreating into safe conversational corners sometimes. I'll be mid-conversation and feel the pull to go neutral, to ask something easy instead of saying something real. But keep in mind, this isn't about becoming some performer. You're not trying to be the funniest guy in the room. The goal is simpler than that. The goal is to be a man who is actually present enough in a conversation to go somewhere with it, to trust himself enough to take the wheel. That's it. That's what separates the men she remembers from the men she forgot the second they left the room. So here's the question I want you to sit with after this video ends. Think about the last conversation you had with a woman you were actually attracted to. At what point did you retreat into safe mode? Where was the exact moment you felt the window and stepped back from it? Because that moment is the thing to work on. Not pickup lines, not opening gambits, that specific moment of retreat. That's where everything changes. If you're done retreating, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel. There's more where this comes from.